There we go. All right. It is June
Yeah.
June 21st.
22nd.
22nd. I can't get the month or the date right.
That's all right.
June 22nd. I'm at the Agape Center talking with,
Cherae Rose.
and what's your date and place of birth?
I was born here in Milwaukee. You want to date? You want the whole year and date?
Sure.
April 15th, 1956.
Okay. Did you grow up in Thurston Woods, or where did you grow up in Milwaukee?
I grew up on closer to Center Street. Can you excuse me a minute? Good afternoon, Agape Community Center. Sure, 1 second. I grew up closer to 8th and Center. Yeah.
So, how did you find out about the Agape Center?
Well, we moved up here. We moved up. How long? It's been 32 years ago. No, yeah, 30. I was moved up here when I was 18, over on 37th between Fairmont and Stock, and I've been here ever since. And so then, how I found out Agape Center, a friend of mine told me about Edison CLC, and I went over there part-time and volunteered part-time for the CLC, and then when the position opened up over here, then I moved over to their CLC to the community center here.
Okay. Cool. So you moved to Thurston Woods when you were a kid?
Yeah, we moved over to, well, we're in the old Milwaukee, that's what ours is called. Hold on 1 second. Good afternoon, Agape Community Center. No, because she's on another line. That's what it is. Okay, you want her voicemail? Okay, 1 second. Okay. Yeah, we moved over on 37th Street when I was 18. And okay. Good afternoon, Agape Community Center. Sure, 1 second. You're welcome. Okay, what happened? Okay, let me try again. Yeah, and so, well, the area I'm in, I think it's called Old Milwaukee. We're just a few blocks south of Silver Spring.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm on 37th Street. So, we're not in Thurston Wood, but I've been over there since I was 18. I've been living in this area since I was 18. And then I found out about a job, and that's how I got here.
How long have you worked here?
Well, it's either 11 or 12. If you include the Agape Edison, it's been almost 12 years. If you include just the Edison here, just Agape here, then it's been 11.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, what kind of education do you have?
Just some college.
Just-
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, did you find that helped you get into doing the volunteer work and working here, or?
No, because well, I was self-taught as far as computers. When I got laid off from a really good job I had during that 9-year period of being laid off, that I went to MBTI because at that time it was free, and you could go there early in the morning from the time they're open to the time they close, and I taught myself computers. I knew a little bit from taking some classes at MATC, but I furthered it there. And then from there, the same friend who got me the job at Edison helped me write a resume, and I taught those computer classes at Waukesha Technical College for about a year and a half.
So you taught too?
Yeah. I taught here when I first came here. I did the computer classes here too.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's been a roll. It's been a good time.
Yeah, you're very well versed. You've
Yeah.
done all kinds of things.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a lot of different jobs during that 9.5 years that I was laid off and just doing temporary agencies.
Yeah.
I did a lot of different jobs.
Yeah. So, over the course of working at the Agape Center, what kinds of things have you seen that you think might be of historical significance that have happened in the community, or
It would be historical. I don't know if it'll be historical. I've seen a lot of kids come through the center who've gone on to be college students, and I mean, and the art and the amount that makes me happy, it makes me smile every time I think about it, is the amount of kids that have come through here who've gone on to be college and gone on to do this and gone on to do that, and who started out as little kids and now they have families and stuff now. So that's kind of cool to me. And
do a lot of those people that have, kind of grown up through the Agape Center, do they come back here and volunteer afterward?
yeah, they come and volunteer. They work here. Some of they work in the summer program. Bobby, John, Jabari, Evelyn, they all were in our after-school program with our little kids in our teen program.
Oh, wow.
So now all of those are college students, and they come back here to work and stuff.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. Yep, and even before then, it was the same thing. A lot of the kids come back here, will come back to just do things or volunteer.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. I tried to do it one day, and I just couldn't think of everybody because I was thinking about the day when we had voting, how many of our who were kids who weren't at the age of voting came in during the voting, and I said, oh man, I wish I could just keep track of every last one of them, because I got hugs all day long. Because I mean, I hadn't seen some of these kids. Some of them I hadn't seen since they were really little, and some of them when they came in here with their own kids, I haven't seen since years. I didn't even recognize some of them, and they had to tell me, "Don't you know who I am, Miss Cherae?" And I'm like, okay, your face looking familiar, but because they are an adult now, they're not this kid, so they didn't even, some of them don't even look the same. But then some of them look just like it still look like this little boy with hair on his face, or it still look like this little girl with makeup, and that's what I told them. I said, it's funny, you still just look like yourself with makeup on. And they said, you, for real, Miss Cherae? I said, yeah, and then some I just didn't recognize them. And they had to come up to me, don't you know who I am, Miss Cherae? And I'm like, no. And when they told me, I was like, oh my God. One girl, I even gave her a summer program. And I said, and it's funny because she started off in our summer program and went to our after school program. Now she's got a 6-year-old, so she was going to sign her up for the summer program. And I think that's hilarious, that kind of stuff happens.
But that goes to show you the kind of impact that the center's made on the community, and just how good it is when you can see the children growing up and turning into these really great accomplished adults, and then they're passing it on to their children too. That's
even when they
amazing.
don't have such a good life, and when they come back and that they almost come back, and I'm like, because I really didn't think that they were that much affected by me. And then, you talk to them, how you been? And one told me, well, I've been incarcerated, and I messed up. And, and it's funny because I never thought that I would not see him in that position, but that for him to come back and be open enough to tell me this thing, and would be, because I mean, who am I? You know what I mean? That he would be, so I said, oh, I guess we all did make an impact on us, on the kids, because he was ashamed in front of me, you know what I mean? But he came back here and for some help through one of our programs, and he's trying to get himself back together. And it's funny what he said out there following somebody else, and that struck me as strange too, because even him being a young man, he knew that he followed the wrong person, but it's too bad he didn't know before then. But that was cool that he came back out and he came to us to get help.
That is good.
That is. Isn't that something? That's what's the trip about this place to me, is that people keep coming back, and I like that. I'm gonna get all mushy now. Don't get me started now, because I'm a crybaby.
You might get me started too, though,
Okay, now
talking
I
about
see,
this stuff.
because I see your cheeks getting rosy too. Okay, well, let's go to something else then.
Yeah. So, what were your first impressions of the neighborhood, and how has that changed over the time of you working here?
Well, when I first came here, I got lost and I thought it was a really nice neighborhood. And then once I got here, I was afraid of it, of the area, because different things were going on, different little crazy things. And then I guess with me maturing too during the time, it's the same thing over in my area. You know, there's always good and bad, but the bad is minimal. You know what I mean? Because when you first in it, it just seems so big. You know what I'm saying? But then once you figure it out, I mean, it's just minimal. There's more good people in the area than it is, you know, these little people, twerps I call them.
Yep.
than the ones.
Yep.
And then what I like about it too is it's something that happened not too long ago, and I was upset because I said people weren't coming, you know, and telling us different things that was going on. And then they made a liar out of me, because there was all these people coming and telling us, I saw this person and I saw that person. And at first I was kind of upset because I thought they weren't. And then they made a liar out of me, they were.
Huh.
So I thought that was cool too. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting, because a lot of the people that we've interviewed do talk about feeling unsafe in the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
More so at night than during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a naive person by any means, but the first day walking around, I felt fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we're here during the day when it's sunny out, and I feel okay, you know, walking around some of these neighborhoods, and it doesn't frighten me. But do you see a lot of, like you were saying when you first came here, and you were kind of like, oh, this is nice, and then once you got into it, you realized there are some bad things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a lot of people that have that sort of, like us students coming in here, and we think, oh, this is a decent neighborhood, this is nice, and then we don't realize that it could be dangerous and we should probably stay in groups?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think what it is because I know the good and the bad people here. And I think because they know me, I don't think I would have none. Just like I told this one young lady, she was talking about she was going to go walk to the store. And I said, don't get me wrong, there are whites in the neighborhood, but you don't look like you live here. Not that you don't look like you live here. Everybody knows everybody who stays here, because there are a lot of white people in the neighborhood. The difference is that they spot you right away because they know that you don't stay here. And then those elements, I think that then she would have to be, you know, she'd have to be in a group. But I mean, if she came in here just like I've been here all this time, I'm not sure of myself walking around, because I would like to go take walks and everything, but I don't even do it in my own area. I would like to be able to, just like I used to do, just go walk to Walgreens or just walk around my block, but it's not like it was when I first moved up there. When I first moved into my area, the people came and greeted. They brought food to the house, and I mean, these were because there was only 2 other black families in the neighborhood, and then they invited us to the block watch, and we did the block watch and everything, and you knew everybody's address and phone number across from you, down the street from you, behind you in the alley, and behind you on the other side. You knew that we knew everybody's phone number. Even if some of the people I didn't see all the time, I knew all my neighbors. And see, it's not that way anymore. And I would like it to be that way again, so that, I mean, because I need exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to be able to not just sit on my porch. I want to walk. I want to go walk.
Yeah.
And I don't feel safe walking. Because for one thing, if I was maybe about 12 years younger, I wouldn't too much worry about it. But I'm older now, and I don't step good, and all they'd have to do is probably push me over, and that's it. You know what I mean? And I want to be able to walk in my neighborhood. I want to be able to walk around the blocks, because I remember this lady came in and she was talking about, well, I just walk around my neighborhood for 45 minutes. And I said, see, that's kind of irked me, because that's what I want to do too. I want to be able to, just like I want to be able to catch the bus to work if I want to. But see, I'm even afraid to, because I have to walk from 37th Street all the way up to Sherman Boulevard to catch the bus. And when I first started here, I would be able to do that, but it's not safe in my area or any place for you to be walking around by yourself. You know what I mean? Because people watch you, you know. So I want that back. I want that back. And I think a lot of people do. I think when it gets dark, why should you have to be afraid?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, people that don't know the area very well, do they even come around here? Do they even come to the Agape Center?
Oh yeah, please. We have, especially when we used to have the teen program. I was surprised that when I put it in the system, you know, where these kids lived at, and they were coming way over here from the south side, from way on 100 and something street, and way down here. I mean, they came here because this is where their friends were, and these kids were catching the bus. And at one point in the program shut down at 9 o'clock at night, and these kids were leaving from here catching buses going wherever. And so, I mean, it wasn't an issue because they would be in 2s and 3s, or someone would be by themselves. But we never heard it. Well, at least I never heard anything about it happening to them. But I mean, I guess maybe because when you get to be an adult, you know, you're a little bit more scary.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that's it.
Afternoon, ladies.
Good afternoon.
Is Dominique, maybe Coach Eric is here?
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Outside. Dominique, call 221. Dominique, call 221.
So what's your, oh,
Hello? He's not. It's Coach Eric is here. You supposed to be here at 3:30, Coach?
Huh?
Were you supposed to be here at 3:30?
Yeah, 3 or 3:30.
Should I just send him down? Okay. Bye-bye. Pam said come down and be with her because Dominique's not back
Okay,
yet.
that's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
so, what sorts of locations in the neighborhood here are your favorite places to go, or do you have any of those?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Not anymore?
No. I'd like it to be.
Is that because of the unsafeness that you feel?
No, everything is too far away now.
Oh,
Everything
That's
is too
true.
far away. And plus my son is grown up and he's in college. Well, he's finished. He's getting ready to go back. But I mean, he's way in Nashville. So, I mean, I don't have to take him any place when he's little anymore. So, I mean.
do you ever get out to Havenwood?
No.
No?
Not since he was little.
What would you do when he was little there?
Oh, take him over to those, especially those trail walks that they have, and I would take him over. His favorite one was the Halloween thing, where we'd go over there and we make the Halloween stuff and all this other different stuff that they would make. He liked that, and that was good too because it got into a place where I didn't want to walk around and do the Thanksgiving, not Thanksgiving, but the Halloween trick-or-treat thing with him. And I would take him out for the same type of thing at the state fair. One year I would go to the Havenwood, and one year I would go to the state fair because they'd had this big Halloween party at the state fair. And before that, I used to do it at the church that we attended.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because if any other thing different, I'm talking about.
So, what about friends or acquaintances that you've made that are really dear to you?
Excuse me 1 second. Cherae, where is the grill and stuff that we're supposed to be taking care of for the picnic? Do you know? Have you talked
I
to
thought we
the
were supposed to purchase one because I thought ours came up missing. Talk to Mr. Albert.
Oh, no, you-
Yeah, because I think the one because I thought somebody was printing it out. We were supposed to purchase one.
If you not, I got some coming up.
Huh?
I got somebody bringing 2 grills. So
Oh, okay, well, cool. Then we ain't got purchased because I saw it up. Somebody printed it out on the printer today, and I saw them that we looking at purchasing the grill.
Yeah, I told Dominique, you ain't gotta get no grill, we just use regular Weber's, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Gotta save money.
Okay. Okay, now what was that? I forgot.
That's okay. Friends and acquaintances that you've made throughout the years of being here?
Oh, co-workers, well, it used to be my co-workers. I still talk to a lot of them through email and stuff.
Have a lot of people moved on and retired?
Miss Lynette went to Madison. JC finished his degree, so he went on what come. Ava was let go. Miss Eva left. Janine left. David left. Went somewhere else. A lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If I watch, I think every position I've watched somebody at least be 3 or 4 different people in their position.
Wow.
Yeah, because the director when I came here was Jenny Sevenick, and then there was Maria Sluzalis, and there was Sister Patrice, and now it's Ann. Al's position, I can't even tell you how many different people it was. Mary Ann, Marie, Mary, Alice. One lady who came and just went for one day.
Oh, one day?
I'm good.
What was behind that?
I don't know. We never did find out. And then for the computer lab, it was August, and it was Anthony, it was Miss Mary, it was me, Michael, and then but Cassandra and Ava would have been here. If Ava wouldn't have been let go, we put in a service, a cleaning service. So the housekeeping lady, she was let go. She would have been here, I think, 14 years. Cassandra's been 15 years. Cassandra and Ava came with the new building because we used to be over on Silver Spring. So.
Oh, okay.
So and I came right after they built this building.
And what was your beginning position?
Receptionist. I started off the receptionist.
Oh, so
over at Edison, Agape Edison, I was the administrative assistant over there.
okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot of fun. Getting to be with all these different people and watch them as they grow and change, get a chance to retire.
Yeah, a few of us came over from Edison, me and Lynette. And Lynette came from over at Edison. Oh, I forgot, Natalie came over, and Miss Lucretia. All 4 of us came from Edison, because Edison only lasted about 2 years, and then they closed down, and then Miss Jewel went back to Christ the King Church, and then few of us came over here, and the rest of them were teachers over there. So then they just, they were doing that part time. So, yes, can I help you?
Bobby.
So the ones that had positions over there, we all came over here, and the rest of them just went CLC closed. But I heard that, they were, we talking about getting another CLC, another Edison, well, not Edison, but Agape CLC.
Okay. Another aspect that's, now that you're talking about things closing and another aspect that came up in a lot of the interviews that we've done is the fact of churches in the area closing over time and the schools closing. And then the children having to be bused to further away schools. What do you see with all of that?
Oh, goodness. I can say a lot about that because I was really upset about that because my son was being bused to school, and then all of a sudden now he's not bused to school. And then he's got to take 2 city buses to get to school. And it's dark when he first started going, and I did not like that. I mean, he's a young man, he's a teenager, but I mean, still, I didn't appreciate my son being out, or any of those kids being out on the bus stop that early in the morning or in the winter time. I mean, and then having to go, because there are no high schools in this area. And I heard that the one that's over there, Custard, they were just talking, Cassandra and one of your other people were talking, I think they're closing that one down too.
Really?
Because the only buses, every high school that's in this area, the kids have to catch 2 or 3 buses to get to them. Because what is it? It's Milwaukee School of Language, that's on 80 or something in Burleigh. There's King, that's way over there. And then Cassandra said there's 2, one up on Good Hope, one up on Brown Deer, and that's still 2 buses. Or either, but then, and what's the really thing is that there's no bus to go this way and then go Brown Deer. You have to go this way, then go that way, then come back. So I'm like, this is crazy, you know,
Yeah.
to send our kids through this stuff.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they're up like 2 hours before they have to go to school trying to get to school, and the same thing we're going. And then I said, and then the young lady brought it up that it's really bad if your kids are doing after school curriculum, and I mean, or have tutors or want to do sports and stuff, because either you got your kids coming home all times of the evening, or us parents have to go out there and get. I mean, I
Yeah.
understand if it's little kids. Why should I have to go out there and get my teen kids? But I have to because I wanted him to be safe. So I had to go get my son. Yeah.
It
It's just.
it I'll tell you what I think about it.
Mm-hmm.
You hear all about literacy rates, kids going to school. It's always the African American communities that they seem to be lagging behind in all of that.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think, logically, an intelligent person would think, okay, well, we need to make schools more accessible for these individuals so it's easier for them to get to and from the institution, so they'll be more inclined to go to school instead of feeling like it's such a long trek for me to get there. The schools are packed, the teachers aren't going to give me any attention. I'm losing no matter what I do. That's what I hear with what you're saying.
And then the schools that are here, because just like Edison, I mean, I worked at Edison, but there was no way that I was going to send my son to Edison. Not the stuff that I saw going on in that school. Kids screaming, teachers trying to get these kids under control. I remember one time the teacher was outside of my offices, and this is not an exaggeration, over an hour and a half trying to get these kids to quiet down so that she could move them into the classroom. And she was irate. We are not moving until it's quiet.
Wow.
And I said, there's no way I'll send my son here. A matter of fact, I sent my son, started him in kindergarten, and I didn't even have a car. And I sent him way on 88th and Morgan, and that's where I stayed on 37th Street. So if he got sick, peed in his pants or anything, I had to catch the bus and go get him. Or I had to catch the bus and take him clothes. Because because I had lost my car and everything, I had to do all that. But I had rather see him in a good school where they were going to pay attention to him. If he acted out, I was going to be called. If he was skipping school, I was going to be called. I mean, and it wasn't going to be after he skipped 3 days. I mean, and where I knew he was going to get the education that he needed. Because before my son, in my family, now in my boyfriend's family, his daughter had graduated from college. His daughter had went to, but nobody on my side of the family ever went to college. And so then I wanted to make sure that was going to happen to my son. And I figured the only way that I was going to do it is to get him out of the city of Milwaukee. You know, he was in a public school, but I mean nothing in the inner city, because I said I didn't want him the same thing to happen to him that happened to me and my brother. Because like my brother, he was really smart. Me, they didn't care. I made it through it, but it wasn't that anybody cared. It was because my mother did whatever she could do to help us and find, just like I did for my son, find tutors for me when I wasn't making this. But see, my brother could make it. He just the city got him.
Mm-hmm.
But me, my mother said, okay, my brother ain't gonna go to school, and she couldn't do nothing about it. My mother made sure that I had tutors and everything because I wasn't good in school and everything. But she made sure so that I would graduate. And I made a promise that when I had a son, it was not gonna happen. And so when a friend of mine at work, I was working at WCS, she said she had her child in French immersion. And she was so ecstatic about how well her child was learning and how they were in kindergarten. She was speaking French already. And I said, that's what I want for my son. And I got him enrolled in French and certain. I was on the waiting list, and they called me. He was 4 years old, and I said, well, he's only 4. They said, get him in here.
Wow.
If you want him in here. And that's where I sent him. And for his first 3 years up there, I didn't even have a car. So if anything happened, from kindergarten to what grade was it? I think it was kindergarten to 6. If anything happened, like how kids wetting their pants and stuff, I had to catch the bus and go do whatever I had to do. And I said, well, that's what I got to do. So that was one of the reasons why he wasn't here, because I saw Edison. I would have liked to have him at Edison because I would have been right there with him, but I didn't like how the things that were going on there.
Yeah.
And the stuff that, I mean, because I saw teachers who were trying, I saw parents that were trying, but then I don't think the people who make sure that everything gets done, you know, like the officials and all of that, I didn't see them trying. I saw teachers trying, I seen parents who were trying, but I didn't see anybody principal, I didn't see that working. I didn't see her doing anything. The people who things were took to, I didn't see anything of that getting done. And I think that one of the best things they had was that CLC.
Yeah.
Because that CLC over there, we were huge. And that's why I was surprised when we lost, you know, the funding and stuff.
Yeah.
Because because it was funding from NPS. And what was it, Safe and Sound at that time.
And when I talked to one of the community,
That's all right.
one of the community members, she mentioned about how Milwaukee County was going to cut the bus system that came up here to this area, and they were going to eliminate that.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw a lot of friends lose jobs because they couldn't. Well, with the school busing, I thought that was wrong that they cut that out because our teenagers have to get all over the place because they closed all the schools. But then the regular city buses, how many male friends I have who lost their jobs because they couldn't get to work. And then I was telling one lady that there's a program by that SDC, and when it first, now when you go out there and look at it now, when it first was out there, it was women and families.
Okay.
Now they just say families. So I guess if a man has a child that he can get it. But I'm like, where is this same program for men? Because the majority of the men who I knew who lost their job, they've been catching the bus to their job for years. And now there's no buses going out to these places anymore. Or either these companies just started closing, like, you know, that were out this area, you know, that you had these buses going to. I said, that things is, bye-bye. Things just changed too much for me.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are head of households, I got friends who broke up, families broke up, marriages broke up because husbands lost jobs.
Wow.
And I've seen a lot of drug and alcohol and mental health issues because of all these jobs and stuff that have been lost. And I mean, and no replacement skills for it.
Yeah. Yeah. It just baffles me that the county would think, hey, let's go and cut these buses when they're closing schools that are close by. So if the buses weren't here, how would those kids even get to school?
People get to work too.
People don't exactly, and people get to work. You know, not everybody has a car. Not everybody has access to that kind of money. And especially if you don't have a job because you can't get to your job, then what are you going to do?
Right, exactly.
So it's just the whole logic of situations like this that just completely baffle me. And
yeah,
I
don't think, and the part that kills me is that they tell you that they for the people. So what people are you for? I mean, because the people is everybody. That means the rich and the poor, the middle class and the poor. So it seems like you just taking care of the upper middle class. The rest of us, we fended for ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it irks me that we got to be called the working poor. That one really gets me mad. Good afternoon, Agape Community Center. Yeah, it's today, hon. It's at 5:30 to 7 o'clock. Okay? You're welcome, hon.
Did you see Dominique?
Bye-bye. Yeah, because I was telling somebody today, it killed me about, now if I knew how to budget and everything, I had to figure that out. So now I know how to budget my money. I took these budgeting classes, so now I know how to budget my money. But when I didn't know how to budget my money, and I said, it's the same money, the same amount of money, but I went and took these classes because I had filed bankruptcy, so I ended up having to take these classes. I said, but why these classes aren't given to people every day? Because it's the same amount of money, but now I know how to, and I can save money now, but I didn't know how to do it because it was like the bills come and I'm throwing it out there. You see what I mean? And so it was. I tell people it's the same money, but the way they teach you is how to do your money. I said, so these classes need to be out there. How come there isn't stuff out there to teach people that? And then,
Yeah, why don't they require it as part of a high school education?
Thank you. And then the other thing is people like me who are working poor. But then just imagine if I'm considered as well off. What are the people? I said I went and applied for food stamps and I was $48 over. Okay, how much food can I buy with $48 in a 2 week? So well, just figure that's what is that, $96? Still $96. What can I mean? $48. No, that's right. It was $48 for the month. How much food can I buy for $48? That's ridiculous. Who are these people who are deciding these things?
But you know what's happening? See, this is the bad part.
So are you supposed to take a $48 a month pay cut so that you can get on food stamps? You know, I mean, that's because if you took that $48 a month cut to get on food stamps, you'd probably get more than that $48 in food to feed yourself and your family. It's just so stupid.
Yep. And the one killed me about it was when my son was going to school. I was $5 over the amount to get reduced so that he could get reduced lunch. So then that meant they cut me off a reduced lunch. So then now that meant that he wasn't gonna get reduced lunch anymore because I'm $5 over. Remember, for the month, he wasn't gonna get reduced lunch anymore. Plus, I had to pay for his bus tickets now. So can you imagine per month how much that's more taken out of my pocket?
Yeah.
Because now I got to pay for his lunches. So I had to insist that my 15-year-old son, although he is, you are supposed to get him started, but I have to insist that he gets a job so that he can eat lunch and get to school.
That's ridiculous.
It ended up, it's a good thing, but I'm just talking about, it's not like most people that they don't have to insist their kids go to school so that they can get to school and eat lunch. I had to insist so that he would eat lunch and get to school. And I work every day. Okay, so that's crazy. But I mean, by the grace of God, it all went smooth. You see what I'm saying? Because he ended up getting these jobs, and he worked, and he saved his money. And he was taught all these things, because of who he hung around with, and because the types of schools he was in, he learned all these things. And people, I think if he would have been in the inner city, he wouldn't have learned all these things. And he was taught, and he was bringing back stuff to me that he was teaching me. My son is teaching me stuff, okay? So he's bringing back stuff to me and teaching me, and so that it was all good. Yeah. But I'm just saying, for somebody who wasn't making as much money for me, how hard was for them to be, if they just say they make that $48 over, but now they've got 2 or 3 kids, but you still at that $48 thing. You see what I'm saying? Because even with 2 or 3 kids, they gonna give you, for one kid they gonna give you more, but then for another kid they only give you $2 extra dollars. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then they were probably seriously in the hole. You see what I'm trying to make it. But like I said, I know a lot of them who did, and they did really well. You know what I mean? Went to school, went to college, got their degree out there, and I was in the industry, and I'm like, and it wasn't nobody's help, it was them.
Yeah. Do you see a lot of people here in even directly out the door that are facing that same sort of dilemma in life? They make just enough to where it's like, sorry, you can't get any of these programs,
but that's
and
what
then
I'm
they
saying.
suffer.
The majority of us are, but we. Okay, I'll give you an example. My best friend, she started out on welfare. She got her associate degree, she got her bachelor's degree, she got her master's degree, and now she's a big person at Johnson Controls. Okay, but I'm just saying. Every time she tried to make it, they would try. Everybody who would help her,
There's no help.
you get labeled that you a working person. You get labeled, so then they figure, like, why should I help you? You know what I mean? Because I remember when I tell everybody when I I've worked all my life, and when I got laid off that time, I got that first $175 because I didn't have a child then. And then when I finally did have a child, Nathan was sickly and everything when I first got laid off from this job. And do you know that they would not give me welfare? They would not give me nothing. And come to find out, I ended up, a girl at that time who I was going down with MATC, she graduated, she went to MATC, and I went down to the welfare office and I met her. And later on she put to me to the side, she said, do you know that they put women in the system who work? I can't remember the term that they called it. I wish I could remember what it called. But because you work, they don't try to make you eligible for anything because they figure we'll just let you go, you'll find something. But during that time, you struggle.
And do you see a lot of that here in the neighborhood? Same
Yeah,
thing?
but they making it. You see what I'm saying? Because some of these people got better cars than me, and because they struggle, but they keep going. You see what I'm saying? And that's what I say I like about the neighborhood, because there's more good in this neighborhood than bad. The ones that bad are these little people that just, but I don't even think they people. I think they younger people. But I see so many people work hard for everything they got. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they really do it. And that's what I think is good about it. And they come around for little bitty things, but then, but society has the tendency that if you got a lot, then, and if you're looking for something, they want to label you, a lot of people as they're trying to be greedy or whatever. But I mean, if it's out there and you got it, then why don't you, and it's supposed to be given to people, why are you trying to make it hard for people to get? You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because the majority of people who are out here, they all work hard. They work hard for what they got. And there ain't I don't know anybody, because I always hear women talking about, yeah, well, I heard this person is such and such is a drug dealer, and they getting ready to go. So that tells you that they will team together, and all that riffraff got to go if they figure out who it is. You see what I'm saying? So people work hard, and all you have to do is drive around and look. The majority of there's flowers and the grass is cut, and you have to pay for it. A lot of people have to pay to get their grass cut, or they have to cut it themselves. So it shows you that people, that they work hard for whatever they got. So if there's something that they need, that we shouldn't be trying to hold on to it. I'm not saying us, I'm just saying out there.
Yeah.
Because that was the main reason why I came here. Because when I was laid off during that time, I tell people that's why I like having this job. Because when I was out there trying to make ends meet, I mean, it was like, I told this one girl, I said, well, is it your money? I mean, because why are you trying to stop me from getting it? If I need it, I'm not going to come to you. I'm not going to fill out. Why would I fill out this thick old book if I didn't need it? My son has asthma. He needs help. I mean, I need to get his medication and all that. And they kept denying me over and over again. It wasn't until the laws got passed, and I was here almost a year before they sent me a letter saying that I could get some health insurance from them. And all that time, I didn't go to the doctor. I didn't do anything. The only time I went to like these free clinics and everything, because I couldn't get medication. I said, because they never would give me any Title 19. And I told them, I said, I don't want the food stamps. I don't want this. All I want is insurance for my son. You know that? All that time, I never could get it from them. And I found out from this young lady who, I'm not going to mention her name, but she had started working, and she said that they purposely label women, because they ask you all these questions, and they know if you worked all this time, they're not going to give you no money, because they figure you can get it yourself. But who are you to pick and choose whether I should get it now why I need it?
Right.
Because as soon as I get myself together, you can have it back. I don't want it after then. But I mean, but who are you to pick and choose? You sit up there and try to do all these psychological moves on me, that you decide that, oh, she didn't work all her life. She don't need it. She'll eventually get a job. but what do I do in the meantime? See, that's what I'm talking about. And so then that's why I think people are so tight, and the ones who aren't really righteous, why they so down on other people or other people or other races, because we have to go through some of that kind of crap.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so you just mentioned about the area, the grass, the flowers. You see that people keep up with their yards, that kind of thing. And there's also the community gardens around here. So do you want to talk at all about the community garden or?
Well, I don't know that much about that except for I've seen it every year, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
And I've even started my own garden this year, but I thought that was kind of cool, especially the one over there by Florist Avenue Church, and that one, and then the what is it? Growing Power.
Oh, okay.
And you can drive down that street any time of day, and I mean it's like cars all the way down. People are trying to get in there. So I said, you could tell that people want for a better life. So that's why I said the stuff that does go on in the neighborhood is far and in between.
Yeah. Do you see more people planting their own gardens in the neighborhood or becoming a little more savvy like that?
Well, not in Havenwood, I don't think, but I think people are. Because I started my own, and both my neighbors on both sides of me, this was my first year, but both my neighbors on both sides of me, they had done it for years. Because like Karen was there when I moved there. Mr. Irons, him and his wife just moved in. But then the neighbors down the street from me, the people that just moved in, I see they had their whole backyard is a garden. So I think a lot of people are, but a lot of people have high gates, so I really don't know. But I think the people are trying to grow their own stuff. That would be good, because I remember they used to have a program that used to be helping. Matter of fact, it was from UWM.
Oh.
Extension. They used to go down on not Wisconsin Avenue, but on Wells, at the UWM Extension, and you could get seeds and get it books, and that would help you, because my mother used to go all the time, because she used to grow her garden all the time when we moved up there, and that's what we used to do, go down there and get the seeds and get information on how to do this and how to grow that. I mean, she would get her a lot of her own seeds, but I mean that was a good thing to have, because it was real helpful with her, because even when she did go down there to get seeds, she would always call and get information on how to do this with this type of plant and that kind. So it was real cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. That would be a good idea to bring that back.
Yeah, it would. Let's see.
Okay then.
So,
Thank you, Mr. Dominic.
well, I think we've covered everything. Oh, in the community, about a conflict in the community. The one thing that a lot of people have talked about, that they can remember, are what we already discussed, the aspect of the bus system. But another thing is fighting to have Havenwood stay open as a forest preserve. And then also, further back, is the open housing issue in the 60s. And I was wondering if you could maybe speak on that at all. And
I don't know anything about the open housing issue.
Oh, okay.
I don't know anything about that. I might know something about it, but I don't know it from that terminology.
Oh, Father Grappi.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And that whole movement that
Okay.
he was surrounding.
Okay.
Do you have any memories of that time?
Only
Or
thing I remember is about marching with him, but I was a teenager.
you marched with him?
Yeah, over there on because the church, that was one of the churches that we went to, St. Boniface Church, and
Yeah.
that was one of the churches that we went to, because my mother was Catholic, right over there on A Street. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then the church where Father Grappi was right there, right across from 12th Street School. Okay, so I remember my mother marching with it, and even my grandmother. But I don't know exactly what it was about. But I know we had to go. Okay, but I don't remember what the specifics was.
Oh, okay. I was just curious if you knew anything about the kind of tension in the community or the way that it felt during that time or anything like that.
Well, I no, if you're talking about racial tension,
Sure.
see, where we came from on A Street, it was the same thing as it was when we moved up here.
Uh-huh.
Well, okay, when we moved up here, there was a little racial tension. It was only really one person, and then another group that was kind of crazy. But when I was down on A Street, I mean, I remember, what was her name? And those two twin sisters. We were never allowed. Okay, the twin sisters, we could only come up on their porch, but we cut their grass and everything. And then the one lady who lived around on 9th Street, those the only, and then Abe's store. So there was a lot of whites in the neighborhood. We didn't have that kind of issue. We didn't have an issue. And only wasn't until we moved up here that we had a real issue with that guy driving down the street saying that black people need to move back where they came from. That was the only real one. And then this one group of young kids, when we used to try to go on 19th and Atkinson to catch the 3rd Street bus, they used to come. They knew that me and my sister-in-law. Well, she wasn't my sister-in-law then. She was just my best friend. And when we would go out at night, young girls going out tonight, we would go out. And we weren't young girls, we were young women. And we would catch the 3rd Street bus to get back, because we called it the city, because so we'd be over to catch the bus, and they would throw rocks and stuff at us, and try to act like they were gonna come up on the sidewalk at us when we first moved up here. But that was the only thing. Like I said, it was us. When we first moved up here, it was me and my mother on one side, and then across the street was another black couple. They were both school teachers. So everybody else in the neighborhood was white. And they all came to us, and well, not all, but the majority came to us, and that's how we got the block watch together. And we filled out and gave them our name and address and stuff. And because I lived upstairs and my mom lived downstairs, and we were on the block watch, and we did the block watch like walking through the alleys and everything. And they were the people, because that one black couple, we never saw them. We saw them a couple of times. Mama seen the lady because she knew the lady. She went to school with her. But then they had both got killed in a car accident going on a vacation. So then that left us the only black people in the neighborhood. And except for one guy, we didn't find out till we had been there almost 6 years. We never even knew. And how we found out about him was his house caught on fire because of the kids setting off firecrackers. And Jimmy, after I moved out, and I had lost my first job then, and I moved out and Jimmy moved in. She moved to Jimmy, so he was coming home, and so he went up there to ring his doorbell to tell him that his house was on fire. So he called Don and told him that there's a black man on the porch telling me my house is on fire. And Don told him, "Fool, your house is on fire. You should have listened to him." So at that time, the only people that were black in the neighborhood was in our house. So, and we didn't have any problem. We didn't even have a problem from him.
Oh, that's interesting.
Just that he didn't associate with us. But
Okay.
Don did, Karen did. Matter of fact, Don was my mom's best friend, him and Marilyn. Him and his wife Marilyn, until Don died and Marilyn couldn't keep the house and she moved out. And Karen, she's been there way before we were. And the neighborhood has since changed. I mean, I think Don and Karen is the only, now it's all predominantly black. And Don and Karen, I think they don't, well, Don's gone now because Mr. Arms lives in Don and Mary. So Karen is the only white in the neighborhood now. So it's just the opposite. No, it's not, because Charles and his wife. But Charles never, we don't know what happened to Charles. I think he's been sick. Because I still see his wife, because his wife has always had mental health issues. And she's out in the yard, but I see her all the time and I wave at her, but I haven't seen Charles. So I don't know. And, she doesn't talk. I don't even think she speaks English.
I think it's interesting. There are a number of the people that we've talked to in Thurston Woods. they know who all their neighbors are. They keep watch. They know who lives on their street.
See?
They're friendly. They know each other. But then there's the problem of a lot of those people that will eventually then move out, and then they're replaced by renter after renter, and then they don't know who they are. But I
Right.
just think it's real interesting that you know who the people are still in the neighborhood where you grew up, and you still kind of know what's going on with them.
Well, I know some of the neighbors down the street. Like I said, Charles and his wife. I never known his wife's name because I don't know. I think they German or something, and she doesn't even speak English.
Oh,
but she
wow.
always waves. And then there's Karen, and now Karen's husband had died, and then her daughter moved in with her, and so it's Karen and her daughter and her two kids, her two daughters, and then it's Mr. Arms and his wife, and then it's I think it's Betty and her two sons is next to Mr. Arms, and then it's Marcus and his wife and his 5 kids next to them. But these are all new neighbors going this way. On this side of me, those are all new neighbors. But I mean, you drive down the alley, don't you wave at people? Don't you stop? Or when they doing something out there, you go, "What you doing?" And then they'll turn around and look at you, go, "How you doing?" And you know, if you do that, but then I know there's a lot of people who I do that too, and they still look at me like, the whole time you talking to them, I'll be like. So then I'll say something to them like, "Okay, don't have a good morning then," and keep going. But then I got a lot. I mean, I know neighbors on both sides, you know, down the alley, and I see their kids, and I wave at the kids, and then I tell them, "Can I get out there and play basketball with you?" They go, "You're kidding, right?" And I go, "No," and they go. So then when the next time I come down the alley, then they waving at you. I mean, if you say things to people, then. But then some people gonna still act strange. I just think they strange anyway, so forget them. But I mean, that's how you meet people. And then
Yeah.
the next time you stop and you roll it down and you talk to them for
Yeah,
a minute
yeah.
before you go in your garage. I mean, unless you got to go pee, then there ain't no reason that you rushing. Okay, seriously, you know. And then you'll notice that those same people will do that to you. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I'll stop recording because it's been about an hour.
okay,
I don't want to take any more of your time
that's
away
all
from
right.
work.
Well, thank you for